Good morning, church. I'd like to thank you for letting me address you this morning. Church, I pray that the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart are acceptable to God. Today is Trinity Sunday, and the lesson is often about the Holy Trinity, and I will be coming around to that. But this Sunday, the Miles Hall Foundation has asked faith leaders to speak out about what happened to Miles Hall. And Miles Hall was my nephew. He was a young man. He's a black man. He was shot by police. We are going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to talk a little bit about me. We're going to talk about Miles. We're going to talk about what we as a church family can do about these things. There are no easy solutions. I'm not asking for any. Church, Miles was my nephew. My husband was with me, though he wasn't my husband yet, when I took him to visit my mom, to meet my family. My sister was there, and she told us that she was pregnant. It turned out she was pregnant with Miles. Miles has been part of my family and my husband's family before he was born. Miles was a happy young man, but he wasn't always happy. Throughout his teens and into his early 20s and into his end, he had emotional problems, he had behavioral problems, and his family was very aware of that and worked very hard to get him treatment. One day, Miles was acting very bizarrely. It was apparent that he was not taking his medicines. And my mother, his grandmother, my sister, his mother, called the police to get him 5150'd, and he was subsequently shot by police. It's not easy to talk about. Miles's last words, so far as I can make out, were, "Help me." He said, "Help me," to the officer who was handcuffing him after he'd been shot and was very shortly to die. "Help me," is the last thing I know that he said. Sometimes we ask for help, and the help isn't there. Sometimes we're asking for help, and from the exact wrong places. That doesn't mean we shouldn't ask for help. But we need to know that sometimes we're asking for help, and it's from someone who is definitely not there to help us. I want to draw your attention to the book of Isaiah, the 29th chapter, and the 9th verse. And it begins with, "Go ahead and be stupid." I'll repeat that. Go ahead and be stupid. If your translation doesn't exactly match that, that's okay. I'm sure it gives you the same rough idea. Go ahead and be stupid. All of us have done things that were stupid. But you'll notice this is in the middle of the book of Isaiah. Isaiah says, "Go ahead and be stupid," and still keeps talking. Isaiah says, "Go ahead and be stupid," and then goes on to insult us some more, and still keeps talking, because salvation is never closed. Finding our way out of stupidity is never closed to us. Salvation is never closed. Redemption is never closed. Turning around is never closed. Help is never closed to us. Help is never closed to us. Help is never closed to us. Jesus came to save us. That's why we know that there is help available. If we could have saved ourselves, we would have done it already. If somebody else could save us, we would have had them save us already. If the police could save us, the police would have saved us already. If the church could save us, the church would have had us so saved, because they're all competing to save us, and the church can't do it. Help me. Sometimes we're too proud to say that. Sometimes we're doing things and we know we need to be doing better. Sometimes we're doing things and we know we should be doing virtually the opposite of what we're doing. We need to sit down and ask, help me. I know I've been stupid. Please, God, help me. And we find in the life of Jesus Christ ways of helping. Because Jesus doesn't give us a bunch of theology. Usually Trinity Sunday would be full of theology. And I want to say I'm not here to be about theology today. I'm here to say, help me. I'm here with everyone who's ever said, help me. I'm here with everyone who should have said, help me, and didn't. Jesus is approached by a woman, a Syrian woman, a woman that Jesus has been taught is not his equal. And Jesus doesn't say, woman, you're not my equal. No, actually he does say that. He calls her a dog. And she says, you know what? You can call me a dog, but you're still going to heal my baby. And Jesus says, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm going to help you. If Jesus can turn around, if Jesus can go ahead and be stupid and then turn around and not be stupid, I think there's hope for me. The Jewish leaders went to Jesus and said, you know, there's a centurion. Yes, he's part of an occupying force. He's no friend of ours in the big sense. But he's been very generous to us. He's given us money for our synagogue. His sex slave is sick. Will you go heal his sex slave? And Jesus goes to do that. And the centurion says, you know, I know that I'm a Gentile. I know that you're not supposed to come into my house. Don't even come into my house. Just say that my servant is healed. And it'll be enough. And Jesus did. And Jesus didn't trip and say, you know, you need to get right. Jesus says, you have so much faith. Of course your sex slave is healed. We think of these things as exceptional. We think of these things as things Jesus did, but we can't do. Well, of course, I can't heal people. Of course, I can't perform miracles. But I can look at myself and say, I can change. I can humble myself. I can be generous. I can do things that I didn't used to be able to do. I can have gone ahead and been stupid, and I can turn that around and be just a little less stupid the next time. I can be a little less stupid next time. I'm not saying that people who are victims of police violence are stupid. I'm saying they're calling for help. And the police aren't there to help. We're not always able to help. God's able to help, but God's help doesn't always show up in the ways we think it should show up. Jesus' message is over and over again one about changing our nature and not about changing our theology. Jesus says you want to be greedy, and I get it. Go ahead and be generous anyway. Jesus says you want to put yourself first. I get it. Go ahead and put others first anyway. Jesus says all the good things you want for yourself, want them for other people. All the good things you're going to do for yourself, do them for other people. Jesus tells us over and over again that what we need to be doing is feeding the hungry, visiting those who are alone, clothing people without clothes. Not some theological fight. After the Gospels, we come into a section of the Bible where we are full of controversies. People are constantly fighting about who really is in and what the people who are in the church really should be doing. And mostly what they're talking about is it right to eat certain types of food? Do you have to get circumcised? And women, we don't even care if you get circumcised because you barely count. That's what we have created over and over again in church, is debating, is fighting about theological issues. And Jesus has called us over and over again to do something for others. Instead, over and over, we've wanted to justify ourselves and say, what I'm doing is right. What I'm doing makes sense. What I'm doing, I can prove by the Bible. I can prove it by tradition. I can prove it by my own reason. And that's not good enough. Jesus said, you want to do something? Give somebody a cold drink of water in my name. A cold drink of water in my name. A cold drink of water in my name. I haven't given away enough cups of water yet. And probably there have been times when I've done something right and been proud of myself and thought I was doing the right thing just out of my own sense of pride. And I just went ahead and was stupid. I'm constantly trying to get right in my own mind, get to the point where I am doing things for others' sake. And that's all I'm going to ask you today. That's all I'm going to ask you to do. I'm not going to ask you to say anyone's name. I'm not going to ask you to remember anyone. I'm not going to ask you to remember anything in this sermon. I'm going to ask you to get together with your church family or friends outside your church family and do something for others. A little free library, collecting books for prisoners, raising money to buy books for prisoners, visiting people in the hospital, visiting people in nursing homes, talking to people in your extended group of contacts and just checking in, saying, I know you haven't been to church in a while, and that's fine, and I just want to know that you're okay. I know we haven't talked for a while. That's fine. We don't have to talk again. I'm just checking in to make sure you're okay. Sometimes it's not big things we are called to do. Sometimes we have to say, you know what? I'm going to bake a cake and bring it to church, just so people have something sweet. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm going to go introduce myself to my next door neighbor and tell them if you ever need a cup of sugar, just come over and I'll give it to you. Sometimes we think we need to do something and we need to found a school and lead a literacy program. We need to change the world. The world's already changing. We need to be part of groups in our church, groups in our community, just you and a couple friends perhaps, not some nonprofit with a big name, doing something for others. My nephew's gone. I'm going to say his name. It's Miles Hall. And the Trinity I want us to think about today is faith, hope, and charity. I know lots of us normally say faith, hope, and love. But I want us to say today charity, because sometimes we have thought love as an abstract emotion is enough. Love is a beautiful thing. But if we're only thinking of it as an abstract emotion, we're missing part of our Christian story. Love is action. Love is charity. Love is doing. Love is giving. Love is sacrificial. So, Trinity I want to leave you with today is faith, hope, and charity. Thank you so much for your attention, church. I wish that God bless each and every one of you richly. Thank you.